In the world of Naruto, the Hyuga clan have often been referred to as the strongest clan in the Hidden Leaf Village, and as one of the 4 noble clans of the village, they have a really good reason for being so highly respected, because we're told multiple times in Naruto's manga, in terms of their visual prowess, the Byakugan was stated to be superior to the Uchiha clan's Sharingan. But just what is so special about the Hyuga clan, and why are they truly deserving of the title the strongest clan in Konoha in Naruto's manga? And does that still hold true during the events of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, or is there another clan that's actually stepped up and surpassed? Join me in today's Strongest in Naruto video, where we break down the mighty power of the Hyuga clan and some of its most formidable members. As we all know, the members of the Hyuga clan are born with the Kekkei Genkai for the Byakugan, which gives them near 360-degree vision, with the only known blind spot being the small spot just above their neck. But this dojutsu allows them to see through the obstructions, see chakra better than the Sharingan, to the point where they can see the actual chakra pathway system. And another special trait by the members of the Hyuga clan is that they have the aptitude for handling chakra with such great detail that they can literally expel chakra from each of the chakra points at any given time. That in itself makes sense, given that this is the clan that has some of the most direct ties to the Otsutsuki clan, because they are descendants of Hamura Otsutsuki, the son of Kaguya. And as we learn in Naruto chapter 614, the Hyuga clan made quite the name for themselves on the battlefield, with Shinobi from the Hidden Cloud Village remarking how battles got more difficult when a Hyuga clan member stepped in, due to the nature of the Kekkei Genkai. For generations, the Hyuga clan were split up into the main branch and a side branch, whose duty was to protect the main branch, and if there was ever an instance for it, they were to die for the main branch so as to prevent the secrets of the Byakugan from falling into the hands of others, which ultimately was how Neji's father passed away. Even half-breed Hyuga like Mukai were shown to be feared, with Mukai a shinobi that Itachi and Shisui were assigned to take down in the Itachi Daylight and Midnight stories, being so skilled that using the Byakugan, he was able to not only do internal damage to his opponents when he targeted them, but he's actually able to split chakra-based attacks in half just using his Gentle Fist, which is a testament that even half-breeds such as himself are to be feared in battle. However, let's take a deeper look at the battle prowess of some of the more well-known Hyuga, as well as some of the Hyuga you might have overlooked as you consume the media of the Naruto franchise, so we can determine whether or not they're truly worthy of the title the strongest clan in Naruto. Jumping right into it, it's only right to start things off with Neji Hyuga, because Neji, out of all the pure-blooded Hyuga in this video, had the highest potential, even earning praise from the 3rd Hokage, who took one look at Neji's combat skill and said that it more than lived up to the hype of Neji being the most talented Hyuga clan member that the Hyuga have ever produced. And we see as much when Hinata's father witnesses Neji use multiple hidden jutsu of the Hyuga clan's main branch, which is the ultimate usage of the Byakugan Kekkei Genkai. Neji is shown using rotation. What's crazy about all this is that Neji is shown that he's able to learn the jutsu by being self-taught. We learn in the Naruto Retsunin story, the Naruto Retsunin, the 7th Hokage, and the Spiral of Destiny, that when Neji was learning the movements of rotation, it was through trial and error, and he was eventually able to figure out the basic form of rotation despite Neji never being taught by a member of the main branch. Upon seeing this, Hinata's father, who has seen countless Hyuga before, is absolutely shaken, admitting that the Byakugan Kekkei Genkai flows the strongest through him, and it's after this that he steps up in order to assist Neji in his direct training during the 2.5-year time skip between Naruto Volume 27 and 28. Even more so impressive is that Neji was able to figure out another of the main branch's hidden jutsu passed down by members of the main branch who have the Byakugan Kekkei Genkai, because this dude was able to master the 8 trigram 64 palms just by watching members of the main branch move, memorize their movements, perfect the movements on his own in secret, which in turn allowed him to shut down the chakra points of his enemy when the hits actually landed, which, given most shinobi in the universe utilize chakra either for their ninjutsu to amp their physical stats, this makes perfect sense why he do so. Now, Neji's battle IQ was nothing short of amazing, being able to see through his enemy's attacks, and as we saw in the battle with Kidomaru, even when he was at a strategic disadvantage, Neji was more than willing to place himself in harm's way to secure victory by outsmarting his highly capable opponent. What's even more impressive is that Neji is not only able to find the blind spot, but also come up with the counter for the blind spot in a life or death situation, where he basically starts pumping out chakra through the chakra points surrounding the blind spot, so he knows when an attack is coming, and when it's a few centimeters away from him, he knows to dodge, which he says is a risky decision because one wrong move could kill him, which again speaks to the volume of genius that Neji was. In fact, Neji Neji by the end of Naruto's manga had already met one of the basic requirements of being a Jonin, which is that he had already mastered 2 changes in chakra nature before his death, with the 4th official Naruto databook revealing that Neji knows Earth Release and Fire Release and Water Release, which is crazy to think that he was only 18 when he died, but he was already well on his path to joining that very rare class of shinobi who had mastered all 5 changes in chakra nature. Now, speaking of the databooks, if we go by the official 3rd Naruto databook, which is actually translated in English, Neji by the events of Naruto Volume 43 was literally the strongest member of the Hyuga clan, which means he surpassed Hinata's father for that title, which more than paid off him being astonished by Neji's development when a 14-year-old Neji was beating up a 13-year-old Naruto. By this time in Naruto's manga, Neji's Byakugan was able to see an insane 800 meters in distance, which is improved upon him having a limit of 50 meters, which for reference, on top of Neji increasing his vision by 16 times, he's now able to see just over 2 football fields in distance, which is absolutely insane when you think about how large an American football field is. Between that and Neji's extreme mastery of taijutsu combined with his Byakugan, you can see why Neji was somebody Rock Lee saw and said that he needed the insane power of the inner gates that he opened up against Gar in order to take him out. Now, Neji's father Hizashi as a Jonin was actually pretty strong as well. He's actually criminally underrated by the fandom. Him being a Jonin by himself is a testament to his power, which for reference, being a Jonin makes him stronger than the special Jonin who the Sound Ford needed to gang up on and enter into their 2nd state curse marks, and they were still only able to barely beat those exhausted special Jonin fresh off of a mission. Hizashi, in terms of strength, was stated to be the equal of his brother Hiyashi, with Hiyashi being renowned for his power even in the Boruto era, where we even see people in the anime traveling long distances to the village in order to test their power up against him. There's a reason that he was reanimated by Kabuto in the 4th Great Ninja War. Kabuto wasn't just picking scrubs. He picked Neji's father because he rivaled the current Hyuga clan leader in power, and depending on how you view the events of the flashback chapter 105 of Naruto, he might have actually been stronger than Hiyashi, because when Hizashi got serious, he took him down in one hit. Like his son, Hizashi showed that he's mastered some of the techniques of the main branch, because in Naruto Shippuden episode 268, he's shown using rotation despite it being a hidden jutsu that only is reserved for members of the main branch. While we didn't get a chance to see him in extended battle to further showcase his power, narratively, it's pretty cool that both father and son were able to surpass Hinata's father, with Neji outright stating in the data books to be stronger, and it being strongly implied that Hizashi was stronger than Hiyashi, which makes you realize that the whole main branch and side branch thing was a bit of nonsense, and it makes you wonder how many people in the side branch could have actually surpassed main branch people if they actually had proper training. Now, Neji's uncle Hiyashi Hyuga, he's no joke either. As the clan leader, he is an encyclopedia on all things Hyuga clan, and he knows every fighting style that Hyuga clan has available to all the members, as well, and most importantly, master of all the hidden jutsu that are only passed down to members of the main branch. We see his prowess in the Konoha Crush arc, where he easily took on a group of sound and sand shinobi by himself without breaking a sweat, and with the help of his allies in the 4th Ninja War, he was able to deflect multiple tails from the 10 tails when it went on a rampage. Even in the Boruto era, while he's weaker than his daughter Hinata, he was still stated in Boruto episode 9 to be somewhat relative to Hanabi, a Jonin who actively trains, despite the fact that Hiyashi is at the ripe old age of 62 years old. During his prime years, we saw in the flashback chapter that when the head Cloud Ninja, an elite from the Cloud Village, attempted to kidnap Hinata, just one strike from Hiyashi was enough to actually kill him, which that should explain to you where Himawari got such brute force with her gentle fist to be able to shut down all of Naruto's chakra points simultaneously at one hit. She's just like her grandfather when she gets mad. In fact, in Naruto chapter 614, without the amp of Naruto's chakra cloak, when he uses his full power by himself, completely unassisted, he was able to blow back one of the tails of the 10 tails when it was in mid-attack, which speaks volumes to his strength level. Even if you call it a brief mental amp, it is still super impressive. Now, speaking of impressive, Boruto's aunt Hanabi is absolutely impressive for more reasons than just being super hot as an adult. I'll forever say Naruto chose the wrong Hyuga. Hanabi, when she and Hinata were growing up, was stated to be in the manga stronger than Hinata despite being 5 years younger than Hinata. Now, I am well aware that there is anime filler showing Hinata pulling a punch during the sparring match, but as you guys know my rule when it comes to filler from Naruto Shippuden and Naruto's anime, filler goes right in the trash the same way any prospects of Konohamaru becoming Hokage go in the trash as well. It didn't happen in the manga, so it doesn't serve any purpose for this video. However, while Hanabi might have been someone who started out slapping around her older sister, we know for certain that Hinata ended up surpassing her in combat by the events of the Boruto era. In the Naruto Parent and Child Age story, we saw more of what Boruto's anime alluded to, which is that Hanabi at the age of 28 is currently equal to her father in power or slightly stronger depending on if you think that she was holding back against her elderly father. But the problem for her is that when she spars with Hinata in the events of Naruto Parent and Child Age, Hanabi quickly finds out that Hinata, despite not going on any serious missions that take more than a couple hours to complete and only sparring with Boruto and Himawari, teaching them the Hyuga clan fighting style, that's more than enough for Hinata to have actually kept the rust off of her. Hanabi goes from holding her own against a suppressed Hinata to actually getting outright bodied by Hinata when Hinata decides to stop holding back, beating Hanabi so badly with the series of strikes that Hanabi ends up forfeiting the sparring match in order to get Hinata to stop the assault. Hanabi's power in that Jonin tier nonetheless is more than earned because, as we saw when she was sparring with Boruto in the anime, despite the fact that we know that Academy student Boruto already had a Chunin level power and skill, something confirmed by Kakashi, Hanabi was toying around with Boruto, breaking down each of his jutsu and tactics that he attempted to use, and easily took him out when she decided to stop playing with Boruto and go for a semi-serious strike. What's even more impressive is that the 14-year-old Hanabi that we see in Naruto the Last, if you go by the official Naruto the Last novelization written by the movie screenwriter who co-wrote it with Kishimoto, Hanabi's Byakugan, despite her only being 14, was as strong as the strongest Byakugan in the clan at that point, which means that the statement made in Naruto Part 1 about her Byakugan being almost as strong as Neji, it wasn't just all talk, and that this 14-year-old Hanabi was already on the path to actually surpassing her father, just like Neji did in the Naruto manga. However, Hinata is where things get really interesting, because she went from being slapped around like a rejected red-haired stepchild to being considered the standard for someone with the Byakugan according to the Boruto Road to Be manga, which was published before the movie came out, and her Byakugan was stated to be the strongest in the history of the Earthbound Hyuga clan, and it's for a really good reason. In the Boruto era, on top of her vision being able to see way further than Neji, who as we cover could see 2 football lengths in distance, Hinata can see almost 30 times the distance of Neji. So basically she can almost see 15 football fields in length, and Hinata's Byakugan is so sensitive now after getting Hammer's chakra and retaining a small piece of it that she can detect chakra when it's being used even when her Byakugan isn't active, which we see in the Sasuke Shinin teaches Star Pupil story, where Hinata gets on a Boruto for training and is water released while inside of the house because Hinata has a house rule of no ninjutsu being used inside their house. According to the 4th Naruto databook, Hinata, despite not being a Jonin, has actually met the basic requirements for being a Jonin, which is mastering 2 changes in chakra nature, with the 4th databook noting that she had mastery of fire and lightning released by the end of Naruto's manga. She is also like Neji in that she's a bit of an underrated genius as well, because she took the Hyuga clan's hidden jutsu, the Gentle Fist movements, and she created her Gentle Fist Twin Lion Fist, which sees her wrap her chakra around her fist, and when they make direct contact with the target, they drain away their target's actual chakra when they get hit, which is absolutely insane. Now, Himawari is also where things get really interesting, because as we see in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 1, she's now actively training to become a shinobi, and during her sparring match with Chocho, Chocho was already complaining that Himawari's kicks were getting getting heavy, which is impressive considering that Himawari is still learning to draw out that power, because we learn in Boruto Naruto Next Generation's manga, there's a hidden power inside of Himawari that Damon, a cyborg who is stronger than Jigen but weaker than Ishiki, sensed and immediately wanted to fight her before Boruto stopped him. In Boruto Naruto Next Generations, we've seen flashes of her power, and that Damon's words were not a one-off, because Himawari in the one-shot manga chapter for the day that Naruto became Hokage, with the pun intended here, one shot, was able to immediately shut down all of Naruto's chakra points and leave him unconscious, striking him with enough force that in the same manga chapter, when Kurama sees Himawari coming, he runs immediately off screen out of the panel, which, given Damon's statement, it implies that this was more than a gag moment. This was Himawari in a rage tapping into that hidden power of hers, because in the academy, in the tryout episode in episode 154, we see her casually completing the ninja obstacle course like it's a game, despite the fact that the other students have been training for their entire lives to do something that Himawari viewed as a video game, and even leaving Shino and Anko to remark that she's just as talented as Boruto was when he was coming through the academy, which Academy Boruto was already stated to be at a Chunin level, which is insane to think that Himawari's on that same path. However, when we get to the academy arc, we can see that she's easily holding her own against the Genin that she's kidnapped with one of her classmates, with the former Genin having Chunin level skills since he's mastered fire release, which is not expected of Genin and only a Chunin, and had she not lowered her guard in that fight, she would have actually defeated him. On the other hand, when you look at Boruto is someone who is just downright broken, and when you look at the fact that he's part Hyuga, the Hyuga clan basically added the genetics of Minato's genius to their clan moving forward. So as to not repeat all the points I made in my Boruto stronger than your favorite Naruto character video, I'm going to keep this section for Boruto brief, but if you want a full picture for how strong Boruto is, I'll leave that video linked in the end credits of this video. Now, Boruto, without the power of the Karma Seal, just on his own, came out the academy with strength levels and skill being compared to Chunin, and by the events of the versus Momoshiki arc, he was already confirmed to be at a Jonin level power, meaning the second state Sound 4 ninja would have lost to Boruto by that point in the story. And before he even begins to use the power of the Karma, he's created multiple Rasengans, regular Rasengan, the Vanishing Rasengan, the Wind Release Rasengan, and the Compression Rasengan, which packs more destructive force than a normal Rasengan due to it compressing a large volume of chakra down in size for a more focused attack, which Kakashi calls lethal if it manages to hit someone. But after he learns to tap into the power of the Karma Seal when he's fighting with Kawaki in the manga after Naruto sealed away, Boruto is shown making a giant Rasengan on his own without using Momoshiki's power, which is a sign of his increased chakra levels. On top of that, we see that he's just like his master Sasuke, who picked up on chakra natures extremely quickly, with Sasuke learning fire release in a week, and even his own father Fugaku said, wait a minute, that's too fast, there's no way you learned that, I don't believe you. Then he got shocked that Sasuke used a fireball jutsu, and he learned lightning release in only 3 days of training under Kakashi, which we learned in the Akatsuki suppression arc when Kakashi is explaining chakra natures to Naruto and how to do the actual chakra drills. Boruto has already learned 3 changes in chakra nature: wind release, lightning release, and water release. So you had no problem with Sasuke doing it that quickly, you should have no problem with Boruto. But again, we know how feelings get involved when it comes to Boruto's character. Finally, we have Mukai, the half Hyuga who I mentioned at the start of this video. Due to the Naruto Shippuden anime doing such a poor job at adapting the Itachi Shinden stories, Daylight and Midnight, for those of you guys who are curious, he's a former Jonin and an Anbu of the Leaf Village, and despite only being half Hyuga, the dude was absolutely cracked. When this guy was in the Anbu Black Ops, it was pretty much standard operating procedure to know that if there are multiple shinobi, stay out of his way, because his fighting style was so fierce that those who attempted to fight him would only get in his way, with it being noted he had a tendency to punch holes in the stomachs of people and rip out their internal organs for fun. He's got something consistent with Himawari in that when he doesn't have his Byakugan cut on, his eyes are completely normal, but when he cuts on the Byakugan eye, his eye changes into that violet color of the Byakugan, just like Himawari's does. So unless you know he's a Hyuga, you never actually know he had a Byakugan, which in a battle setting is a huge advantage. When Danzo sends Itachi and Shisui out on a mission to kill Mukai, this dude was holding his own against two Uchiha clan prodigies at the same time simultaneously, with Itachi only being a little bit younger than he would have been when he became an Anbu Black Ops captain. And in that battle, he's shown splitting chakra blasts with his gentle fist, and despite never being taught it, he can perform a small variation of the 8 trigram. In fact, he was doing so well against Itachi and Shisui that Shisui was literally forced to use his Mangekyo Sharingan in order to secure the victory. And it's for that reason I want to end this video off going over the half-breed members of the Hyuga clan, just to show it doesn't matter about main branch or side branch or someone marries outside the clan. These children of half-breeds are pretty powerful, and it's actually because of the half-breeds that the Hyuga clan has the best argument for being the strongest clan in Konoha.